How's everyone doing today? Welcome back to Chefing with Shane. I know why you guys are here. You're here because you promised your girlfriend's family that you're gonna make a delicious dish from scratch and you don't even know how to cook. Now, I got you guys covered. Today we're making a delicious London broil, delicious asparagus, and some garlic parsley potatoes. This is a meal guaranteed to impress. You're gonna get that second date and the family, they're gonna approve of you. Now guys, stick with me and let's make this together. Okay, first thing we're gonna go ahead and make is we're gonna make up these potatoes. They take the longest to cook. You always wanna start with the longest cooking item first. So I already went ahead and cleaned these up. Make sure you got a nice sharp knife because you do not wanna be cutting potatoes with a dull knife. It takes way longer. We're just gonna throw them in this bowl that we got ready. And we're just doing these in 6 pieces per half. Try to get these all similar sizes because they're gonna cook differently based on the size that they are. Now that we have all of our potatoes cut up and ready, we're gonna go in there with just a couple tablespoons olive oil. Just gonna kind of mix that up. Next, we're gonna go in there with some fresh cracked pepper, some salt, just a dash, maybe a 1/4 teaspoon of paprika in there. And just load up on that parsley. You can use fresh parsley as well, but you know, a lot of you guys aren't gonna have access to that. And honestly, dried tastes just fine in the potatoes. Toss that up. Now we're just gonna mince up some garlic and probably throw a little bit more parsley in there. Now we're gonna work on this garlic. We're just gonna take out about 3 cloves. All right, after we mince up that garlic, throwing it in there, and we're just gonna toss it. So I have a nice sheet tray here, and I'm just gonna go ahead and I sprayed it down with some Pam, and we're just gonna go ahead and pour all these potatoes onto the sheet tray. Just gonna flatten this out on the tray, make sure none of them are on top of each other, spread them out. And then after we do that, we're just pretty much gonna throw these in the oven. I got the oven at 425. We're gonna throw those in there for about 25 to 35 minutes. I'm just gonna go ahead with 30, then you're just gonna poke them, see if they're done. You might move them around probably about halfway through that cooking process just to get another edge nice and crispy. All right guys, at this point, got the air fryer out, and no, I'm not kidding. Gonna go ahead at 400. We're gonna let this bad boy preheat for 5 minutes. Let it get nice and warm. And we're gonna work on this asparagus while that preheats. All right, now if you've never cooked asparagus, basically you just snap off the ends. You just pick a spot and eventually it'll be so hard that it snaps off. Asparagus, like I said, if you've never had it, you gotta try it. It's absolutely delicious. One of my favorite vegetables. I actually probably don't eat it as much as I'd like to, but every time I have it, it's absolutely amazing. But that's it. That asparagus is nice and prepped up. We're gonna get this in a pan, nice and cooking up. All right, so for this asparagus, we're gonna get it in this pan and do about medium low, because honestly, we don't want to cook it too high. We're gonna throw in about 1.5 tablespoons of butter. Also, probably 1/2 tablespoon of olive oil. All right, now that this is nice and melted up, we're just gonna throw all of our asparagus in there. Also just gonna go in there with some salt and pepper. And you can throw a little bit of garlic in there too if you want. some other seasonings, maybe some cumin. But I'm just gonna literally throw it in there, put the lid on. I might turn it up to closer to medium. Keep that lid on, it's gonna steam up, and then eventually it'll kind of start to brown. But salt and pepper is really all you need. All right, guys, so at this point, got this London broil. This thing's been marinating all night long. And you guys are probably wondering, well, what's the marinade? What's the secret marinade? You know, it looks like there's some good seasoning on there, some good juices. Guys, I kid you not, Wishbone Italian dressing. My grandparents have been doing this on this London broil for as long as I can remember. It is absolutely delicious. I promise, don't knock it till you try it. Have I ever steered you wrong before? Now, this thing's ready to go in the air fryer, so I'm gonna go ahead and put that in there. It's been preheating for longer than 5 minutes. I'm just gonna go ahead and spray it down with Pam. You can throw some oil in there, works just fine. I'm just gonna take this London broil, set her in there. We're gonna cook this at 400 for 9 minutes per side. Flip it over. After 9 minutes, cook it again. It all depends on how you want this. You can cook it medium, medium well, medium rare, well done, whatever you want. But the temperature you're gonna want for medium is gonna be 145, which is how I'm gonna cook it. So always nice to have a thermometer. Of course, you can cut it every once in a while, but 9 minutes should get you a good start to a base. And then if you need to cook it a little bit longer, then you can, of course, go ahead and do that. All right, guys, so it's been cooking in there for the 9 minutes. We're gonna go ahead and flip that over and cook it some more. Another 9 minutes. Now that we checked on that London broil, time to come over here to this asparagus. It's looking good, guys. You see how it's getting nice and wilted, starting to flop over. That's exactly what we want. It's pretty much there. Still want a little bit of a snap to it. There's also some browning getting on these. The butter's melting up. It's perfect. Want to throw that lid back on. I've added some salt, some pepper, even just a little dash of garlic and onion powder works well too. Time to check on these potatoes. Oven's going off. Let's take a look at these potatoes. The key always with potatoes, most veggies, is the fork test. Now, you poke the fork through there and how hard it is to come out. Means they're done or not. Now these generally all feel pretty good. It comes in, comes out nice and quick. So these, I would say, are done. And that's why it's so important for you to cut them up into very similar sizes, because you just don't want to be coming out with, oh, now these small ones are done, now these huge ones aren't done, and then, you know, the small ones are burnt at the end and big ones are hardly done. That's not what you want. So just cut them up into nice and similar sizes, and you just will have a nice smooth cooking process. Now we're gonna go ahead and turn that oven off, and this London broil has got another minute left. Everything's timing up perfectly. I think these asparagus are about done. So you got them nice and wilted. Got some nice brown color on some of these. This is exactly what you're looking for. And you see how that pan has just remained nice and buttery coated this whole time. That's what that oil and butter does. On a nice medium-low heat, cooks them up perfectly. Same way with onions and mushrooms. Get them nice and caramelized without burning them. Now we're just gonna turn off the heat, put the lid on, and we're just gonna move these back. All right, guys, what does that say? That is 146. And that looks beautiful. We're gonna take this out, and we're gonna kind of tent it up with some tin foil and let it rest for about 5 to 10 minutes. All right, take this bad boy out, set her down. And God, it smells so delicious. So we're just gonna tent this bad boy up under here, and it's gonna cook a little bit more. And we're just gonna let that rest like that for 5 to 10 minutes. Always let your meat rest, especially steak. London broil, like I said, poor man's steak. Gonna let that rest up for 5 to 10 minutes, and then we'll be eating. All right, guys. London broil's been resting for about 10 minutes. Cannot wait to dig into this bad boy. We're just gonna start cutting it up. Oh, just look at this absolute beauty. Nice and slightly pink in the inside, which is exactly what we're looking for. Now we're gonna go ahead and plate this bad boy up. Of course, can't forget that delicious asparagus. Come on guys, are you trying to tell me that won't get you a second date? Super underappreciated cut of meat turned into a beautiful dinner. Let's dig in. All right guys, it's done. Look at that. Absolutely delicious, guys. This is super easy, simple meal. We timed it up pretty well. The meat came out just how I wanted it. And let's try out some of these potatoes. It's absolutely perfect. Garlic parsley potatoes are always a hit, always a classic. You could always make mashed potatoes. Now we're gonna go ahead and try this asparagus. That's exactly how we want it. There's so much flavor there. All you have to do, salt, pepper, butter. That's it, let it cook. Asparagus, underappreciated, absolutely delicious. Now, star of the show, the main attraction, London broil here. Now the edges, obviously the thinner pieces, they cooked more to a well done. Inside's nice medium. Let's get a nice taste. Wow, that is absolutely delicious, guys. Just how I remember. Trust me, you want to marinate this in that Wishbone Italian dressing. That's just how my grandparents do it. It always comes out so amazing. The longer the better. 8 to 24 hours, but a minimum 8 hours. And I just went ahead, I did it overnight, went to work, and it stayed in the marination. It was probably almost in there for 24 hours. It gives it so much flavor. You don't have to season it, you don't have to do nothing. Just that Wishbone marination with the oil and the acid from the Italian dressing. It's just great complement to the meat. Makes it nice and tender. Overall, amazing dish. Hope you guys try this out for yourself. Don't forget, like, subscribe, check out some other videos, and I'll see you in the next one.